Hello and welcome to another edition of Building Tomorrow's Bank. Have you always wondered what social commerce and social banking is and how they are related? Well, with me here today is Rajashekara Maiya, who is the AVP and Lead Product Manager, who is responsible for product strategy Finacle, to let us know all about social commerce and social banking. Welcome to the show, Maiya.
Thank you, Manasa. I'm delighted to be here.
Maiya, can you please define social commerce for us?
Sure. In a pure layman's language, social commerce is the marriage between the traditional e-commerce and the emerging social technologies like social networking and social media. If you look at globally, there are a lot of such emerging technologies which is resulting in creating this kind of a emerging commerce, which results in something called a social commerce. Recently, I was reading a paper where a movie has been made completely in a social way. 25 directors from 13 countries on 5 continents who never met probably. The whole story was written, directed, conceived and even filmed without even meeting each of them. And more interestingly, the entire film was funded in a collaborative way. And as well as, needless to mention, that it was peer reviewed socially. I think that is the kind of emerging trend that we are seeing in social commerce. As per the recent Social Commerce Institute research, if you look at historically the wave of innovations, it started in 1785 with agrarian economy, then moved into industrial revolution, then electrical, electronic, and way back in 2000 it resulted in internet technologies. I think that is giving way from 2009 onwards to something called as social commerce. I think that is going to be a big way.
So that's really amazing. But why are marketers so excited about this whole phrase?
Why not? If you look at the sheer numbers, there are more than 2 billion internet users, more than 5 billion mobile users. Globally, if you look at more than 50% of the population is less than 30 years of age. So 96% of them are really hooked on to social networking one way or the other. So obviously, it creates an opportunity for people to be touching with such kind of people who are digitally connected and digitally living their lives. Apart from that, if you look at the sheer numbers published by the Forrester, there's more than $300 billion is expected to be spent on online purchasing by the consumers in the US alone. And this number is going to be increasing as we look forward. Apart from that, if you see the traditional commerce, which used to be having a lot more paper and a lot more manual activities, the digital commerce or the social commerce is going to have a lot more automated and a lot more processes that are built into in a digital way. So that will have a lot more opportunities and potential created for the marketeers from a sheer number perspective. Sheer intensity, if you look at on an average any individual who spends more than 20% of his time, of the total internet time he spends, is on the social networking. And this is not going to reduce going forward. Apart from that, if you look at the sheer diversity, it is not that the individuals that we are talking about, there's a whole lot of companies, corporates, media, products, and a lot of these brands are having presence in the social networking and social media. And this is going to have a lot more impact in terms of the sales that they generate. If you look at, there are more than 50,000 F-store vendors who are registered in the Facebook stores. More than 2.5 million websites are linked with Facebook. So there's a sheer diversity that is bringing in this kind of investment into it. The last but not the least is the sheer investments that are being made into social commerce and social technologies by the corporates. Anywhere between 80% of the recruitments globally by the Fortune 500 companies are happening through this kind of social media interactions, out of which 95% happens through LinkedIn. So there's expected around $10 billion being spent by these corporates alone on the social media and social networking to make sure that that gets into something like a social commerce opportunities going forward.
I think that leads to my next question. What is driving social commerce on the whole?
See, increasing number, as I talked about, increasing intensity and increasing diversity and the increasing investments, coupled with in terms of the convenience that brings in. For example, for a person who's carry out transactions any time at any given hour, and he is very comfortable with the instruments or devices that he is comfortable with, I think that is going to drive the social commerce. Apart from that, if you have a content and if you can create a commerce platform and you can create a community around it, and with effective communication, I think it's going to be a real driver for social commerce.
You also mentioned that social commerce has limitless opportunities for banking business. How do you justify that?
See, at the end of the day, social commerce is nothing but resulting in a debit or a credit in a financial terms. So obviously there is a finance involved in it, and banks cannot miss out on that opportunity. So if you see recently Facebook's IPO documents, more than 15% of its revenues are contributed by the payments. So that means the second highest revenue earner for Facebook, which nobody knew until it was published as part of the SEC guidelines. So there's an immense opportunity for banks to be participating in that, so that they can take a fee out of it or enable the entire payment mechanisms for people to carry out transactions. Not just that, at the end of the day, trust, confidence, and at the end of the day, making sure that it happens in a rightful way, banks really have a major role to play.
That really sounds interesting. So does this also have a flip side? If yes, what could it be?
Obvious, where the technologies are advanced in terms of the transaction that you carry out on the internet, there is a gray area of regulations and compliance. It is either emerging or it is not yet crystallized. So while banks in a traditional sense, they have to cater to a lot of KYC and AML guidelines across the globe, there are not much such kind of things in the social commerce area. I think this is the flip side when it comes to banks really getting into that bandwagon. I think they have to wait for the clear guidelines from the regulators. At once that emerges, I think there will be a lot more opportunities for banks to make money in that.
Maiya, thank you so much for your time. This has been an enlightening talk.
Thank you, Manasa. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you, viewers, for watching this show. Until next time, goodbye.